Gen Z, you'll never be able to buy a home, you'll never get out of debt, you'll never be able to afford a mortgage payment. Sound familiar? The reality is you've come of age during a pandemic, rising home prices, the lowest interest rates in history that we've seen so far, rising interest rates, and now inflation. According to a recent study, Gen Z faces 4 major obstacles right now when it comes to home ownership: down payment, inflation, student loan debt, and job insecurity. But Gen Z, you have paved the way faster than any other generation before you. A recent Redfin study found that 30% of 25-year-olds, 30% own their home in 2022. That's more than Gen X and millennials when they were that age. So with America's youngest generation still believing in home ownership and taking on mortgages, despite the market conditions, the big picture here is home ownership is an opportunity and is available to you. Here are the steps to get started if you're ready to buy that house. First, what are the top areas that Gen Z is purchasing in? But before I give you that list, make sure you subscribe to this channel for all the updated real estate and mortgage news. All right, so according to a recent source, here are the top 10 metro areas with the highest Gen Z mortgage requests. Number 10, Los Angeles, California. Number 9, Tampa, Florida. Number 8, Austin, Texas. Number 7, Charlotte, North Carolina. Number 6, Phoenix, Arizona. That's my hometown. Number 5, Nashville, Tennessee. Number 4, Minneapolis, Minnesota. Number 3, Louisville, Kentucky. Number 2, Indianapolis, Indiana. And drum roll please, number 1, Salt Lake City, Utah. Why these areas? Well, the pandemic brought flexibility in the way that we work, and that has led to allowing people to actually choose the city in many cases that they want to live in that fits their lifestyle. Let me know what you think of these cities and comment below. Which city would you want to move in? Would you move to any of these? With over 70% of Gen Zers planning to buy a home, you'll likely have questions about the process. And with most information you get online, there can be a lot of noise, a lot of distraction, and some negativity. If you have your eyes on home ownership, here are my best tips to achieve that goal. Down payment. There are so many myths out there, and I still see today. People think that they have to put 20% down. You do not have to put 20% down. Depending on the loan program that you're utilizing, there are low down payment home loans available, as low as 3% down in some cases. And if you've served in the military, the National Guard, or the Reserves, you may be eligible for a VA home loan, which is a no down payment home loan option. That said, know that there are down payment assistance programs out there that can help you with a down payment, so don't let down payment hold you back. Income. Stability of income is very important when a lender is looking to pre-approve you for a home loan. If you are working a job where you have variable hours, know that that variability could impact the usable income that the lender is using. And by that I mean, let's say that you work normally a 40-hour a week, and maybe you've done that all in 2022. But in 2023, maybe you started to work 35 hours one week and 36 hours another week and 42 hours another week and back to 38 hours. That is called variable hours. That approach from a lending standpoint is going to be different than if you work a straight 40 hours a week or you are on a salary type of income. Now, what about if you have a side hustle? We have a lot of people out there that have side hustles, which is awesome. Now, side hustles, here's the deal. If you're working a second job, you have to show and document that you've worked a second job for 2 years to use that secondary income in your home loan qualification. Debt. All right, now, this is a big one, so listen up. There is something called a debt to income ratio. And that is what lenders are utilizing to determine whether your scenario meets the lending guidelines and essentially whether you're going to get that home loan or not. Here's how it works. We're going to take your usable income, so depending on the type of income you get, and there's so many different variables here, but let's just for this purpose say you work a straight 40 hours a week and you're an hourly wage earner. We're going to take your gross income and you're going to be able to spend a percentage of that on your home payment, including taxes, insurance, and HOA. In addition to that, the lender's also going to account for any student loan debt, car payments, credit card payments, installment loans, and if you're paying child support, alimony, or separate maintenance. All that gets calculated into your debt to income ratio, which is going to be a component of your ability to get pre-approved. The key there is, unless you're self-employed or you are receiving a 1099 and filing a Schedule C on your taxes, if you're receiving a salary or hourly income, it's gross income that the lender is going to use based on whatever that usable income is that they've derived for your scenario. So let's look at it this way. Let's say that your gross income is $4,000 a month. Technically, kind of in your head, think that your total debt can't exceed 45 to 50% of that gross income. So in that scenario, if your total income is $4,000 a month, then your house payment together with all of the other payments, not including electrical, groceries, gas, that type of stuff, but everything else that I mentioned earlier, all of that gets calculated into that debt to income ratio. Credit. Credit. This is a key component of the home pre-approval process. There are so many myths out there about what type of credit you have to have. I still hear today, after 27 years of serving thousands of people with their home loans, that you have to have a 740 credit score. You do not have to have a 740 credit score. Let's just get that out of your head. Now, is there a benefit to having a 740 credit score? There could be, absolutely. But it isn't a requirement to obtain a home loan. There are a variety of home loans out there that offer financing with lower credit scores. Now, how do you know what's the right mortgage for you? All right, now this one kind of gets into the weeds a little bit, because I like to say that everybody has their own personal scenario. It's kind of like a fingerprint. Here's my fingerprint, you're gonna have your own fingerprint. Well, that's also our scenario, our financing scenario that leads to this strategy. So there is no right mortgage out there that is like a blanket mortgage. This is the right mortgage for everybody. That's just not the case, because everybody has their own story, their own set of circumstances, and the right mortgage for you is gonna be the right mortgage for you. Now, how do you figure out what the right mortgage is for you? You will want to talk with an educated, experienced lender, and they're gonna ask you some questions at the very beginning, just to try to better understand what's going on in your situation, talk about your employment history, your desire with the house, your financing goals, if you have any money for a down payment, or if you need to utilize the down payment assistance program. They're gonna get all of that intel. And then they're gonna take you on that pre-approval journey. Now that's where you're gonna complete a loan application. Your credit is going to be pulled. The lender's going to ask you for some documentation. And I know it's going to feel like a lot of documentation, but here's the deal. It's so important that you provide to the lender early on in that pre-approval process the documentation that they are requesting of you. That very likely is going to be 30 days of your most recent pay stubs, your 2 years W-2s. In some cases, depending on the loan program, they may want your filed federal tax return, but for now, let's just focus on W-2s. They're going to want your asset statements. If you have money for a down payment and or your closing cost, they're going to want to know where that money is. Now, keep in mind, the movement of money is probably the number one biggest headache that buyers going through the home loan process have. And that's because from a lending standpoint, and this isn't our rule, just know that, this is required in the lending guidelines for the home loan that you're applying for. We have to track all money. So if your earnest money comes from a certain account, we have to track that. And then if the rest of your closing costs are coming from another account, or maybe 5 or 10 different accounts, or maybe part of that is a gift, etc., all of those channels of money that are being used to purchase the home have to be documented. So provide upfront to the lender where your money is coming from for down payment and closing costs, and then try to keep those accounts free from a lot of transactions as you move through the process. Otherwise, all of the movement of money from the time you're pre-approved to the day you get your keys and close on your home loan, all of that money has to be documented, which is the headache that I was referring to. But don't worry, we are here to walk you through that process and get you to the finish line. And lastly, you want to work with an agent that knows the area that you want to purchase a home in. And be careful of this, because the internet can be a little confusing about online agents or agents that maybe don't necessarily know that area. If you're looking in a particular place, in my opinion, finding a real estate agent that knows the area that you want to purchase a home in and has experience helping buyers and sellers in that particular area, that is vital to your success and is really going to lend towards a good experience and a good buy for you. They're going to know all of the answers to be able to give you the insight you need to feel comfortable about your home purchase. With a little patience and discipline around savings and spending and education around the home loan and buying process, you will get there. If you're focused on buying a home, remember, you don't have to do this alone. We're here for you. This could be a very casual conversation. This could be more in depth, starting to talk strategy or get you started on the home loan process. Whatever it is, please click the link below to schedule your personalized consultation with a KellyZtilowGroup mortgage advisor. And before you know it, you'll be unlocking the door to your first home. Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe to this channel for more valuable mortgage information.